Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel that I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It's time to stand up in today's. In the young and the restless realm, Audra Charles Zuleika Silver has garnered a reputation for being ruthless, manipulative, and a bit self-serving. So, as determined as she was to be her own boss in Genoa City with her new cosmetics company Vibrante, we never doubted that she would be successful in seducing Kyle, Michael Mueller, to secure the business and funding from Victor, Eric Braden. However, what we did doubt is whether everything would go to plan in her Kyle plot. Fast forward to the Young and the Restless episode airing on July 18th and news of Damien's Jermaine Rivers' murder continues to make its rounds among Kane's Billy Flynn party guests. After hearing the crushing update, a very upset Audra rushes to Kyle's train car for comfort, and he happens to be in nothing but a towel. Not once opting to put some clothes on, Kyle listens as Audra shares all the sordid details of what the guests know so far about the homicide. Additionally, she becomes engulfed with emotions thinking about how heartbreaking this news will be for Amy, Valerie Pettiford, and Nate, Sean Dominic, to learn. For Amy, Damien was her only son, and for Nate, he was just getting to know his long-lost brother. We still both Amy and Nate will have more time to bond with Damien because we aren't convinced he's dead, but we digress for now. As Audra and Kyle continue to talk, she expresses her concern that they may be doing business with a murderer, as she suspects Kane is the guilty party here. Kyle claims they don't know that to be the truth at this juncture. She then responds by noting she feels safe in the moment with Kyle, and that's all it takes for the duo to exchange some longing looks and share a passionate kiss. That's where the episode ends for them, so we can't say yet if the two will stop themselves or go ahead and hit the hay. Again, Kyle is only in a towel. But whether Kyle and Audra go all the way or don't, they've now cheated on Claire, Haley, Aaron, and Nate, respectively. This was essentially what Victor wanted as part of his alliance with Audra, thinking Kyle's infidelity would end his relationship with Claire and send Kyle packing out of Genoa City. However, with that being said, Victor only gets to run his victory lap in this scenario if Audra tells him about what happened. We aren't sure she'll be willing to do that. Let's think about this. The murder of Damien changes things dramatically. Audra is close to Amy and Nate, and would she really want to add this layer of scheming to their grieving process? By telling on Kyle and their infidelity, she's telling on herself. She may not want Nate to have to deal with losing a brother and have to process the fact that she cheated on him for her career, although she clearly has feelings for Kyle as well. Plus, when Audra learns that Cole, J. Eddie Peck, died, she may not want to dump this cheating scandal on Claire's plate. Audra isn't a friend of Claire, but she is human and may want Claire to be able to grieve in peace and have the support of Kyle. All in all, we just think Audra may opt to keep her mouth shut for the time being. That, of course, puts her in quite the predicament with Victor, but with someone trying to pin Kane's murder on Nick, Joshua Morrow, the Newman patriarch may find himself rather distracted. But since we're talking about the soap world here, the secret will spill out sooner or later. The Young and the Restless turned up the heat from July 21st to 25th with shocking twists and juicy drama that left fans reeling. Backstabber. It was a killer week on YNR, with Monday kicking off the murder mystery of the year. Not only did Kane and Damien drink poison together, but when it didn't work and take them out, a knife flew through the air right into Damien's back. It was a shocking death that left Kane reeling, and Phyllis too, who just happened to be right around the corner. By Tuesday, everyone was in the know, and poor Lily, Crystal Khalil, felt her heart break. She and Damien were barely a couple, but his death has rattled her to the core. Watch now. Big drama. Hot takes. Watch Soap Hub says now. Plot twist. Chance, Connor Floyd, immediately got to work hunting for a killer, but much to everyone's surprise, all signs pointed to Nick, Joshua Morrow. Well, at least the knife did. He found it in his room on Tuesday and was flabbergasted over how it got there, who put it there, and why he was being set up. Will he be able to clear his name, though? Surely, the great Victor Newman, Eric Braden, will throw all the money he can at this problem and make sure the real killer is caught, right? More. Get an in-depth look at what's to coming in Genoa City. Kiss me, Kyle. Audra Zuleika Silver finally got what she wanted on Friday when she and Kyle Michael Mueller. Locked lips. Did they do more? Oh, we're sure of it. In fact, we're hoping for it. A little tryst overseas is just what everyone needs to heat up the drama. What's a few secrets between enemies? There's a lot of drama in Genoa City on the Young and the Restless this week. Let's take a look at all of the thrilling stories coming up this week with the Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of July 21st to 25th. More soaps news. General Hospital spoilers, week of July 21st to 25th. Days of Our Lives spoilers, week of July 21st to 25th. Beyond the Gate spoilers, week of July 21st to 25th. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, week of July 21st to 25th. Below you will find Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of July 21st below, courtesy of Soap Spoilers. Monday, July 21st. Jack is blindsided by Billy's decision-making, Phyllis protects her interests, and Kyle calls Audra's bluff. Tuesday, July 22nd. Victor demands Audra to hold her end of their bargain. Nick and Sharon find themselves in a dangerous situation, and Nikki gives Kane a warning. Wednesday, July 23rd. Kyle tells Nikki the truth about Victor's deal with Audra. Lily stands her ground with Phyllis, and Kane questions Amanda's loyalty. Thursday, July 24th. Victor and Chance confront a new suspect. Nick's plan to escape backfires, and Jack makes a tough decision about Billy. Friday, July 25th. Victor takes matters into his own hands. Billy and Sally work together to help an innocent victim. Nikki is backed into a corner. If you need a refresher on what happened last week in Genoa City, here's a look back at the Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of July 14th below, courtesy of Soap Opera News. Monday, July 14th. Kane confronts Damien about his feelings for Lily. Amanda strikes a deal, and Phyllis finds herself in a dangerous situation. Tuesday, July 15th. Nick devises an escape plan. Chance investigates a crime, and Lily's world is turned upside down. Wednesday, July 16th. Devin connects the dots. Amanda questions Kane's motives, and Nick makes a shocking discovery. Thursday, July 17th. Victor protects his family's interests. Kane is forced to defend himself, and Lily shares damaging information with Chance. Friday, July 18th. Jack teaches Billy a painful lesson. Audra and Kyle cross the line, and Sharon takes matters into her own hands to help Nick. It was a killer week on Y&R with Monday kicking off the murder mystery of the year. Not only did Kane and Damien drink poison together, but when it didn't work and take them out, a knife flew through the air right into Damien's back. It was a shocking death that left Kane reeling. Chance, Connor Floyd, immediately got to work hunting for a killer, but much to everyone's surprise, all signs pointed to Nick, Joshua Morrow. Well, at least the knife did. He found it in his room on Tuesday and was flabbergasted over how it got there, who put it there, and why he was being set up. Will he be able to clear his name, though? Surely, the great Victor Newman, Eric Braden, will throw all the money he can at this problem and make sure the real killer is caught, right? More. Get an in-depth look at what's to coming in Genoa City. Kiss Me, Kyle. Audra, Zuleika Silver, finally got what she wanted on Friday when she and Kyle, Michael Mueller, locked lips. Did they do more? Oh, we're sure of it. In fact, we're hoping for it. A little tryst overseas is just what everyone needs to heat up the drama. What's a few secrets between enemies? Especially those of the bedroom variety. Will Kyle live to regret playing nice with his former flame? We're sure of that, too. He's been on that high horse for way too long, though, and it will be nice to watch him get knocked down a peg or two. Let's just hope, for both their sakes, they just get knocked around by this twisted little affair and not knocked up. A surprise pregnancy would most definitely change everything. Got a wild soap prediction? Email amber@soaphub.com and you could spark our next buzzworthy discussion. Damien's death has the Young and the Restless fans playing detective. Now that the murder mystery has started, viewers are wondering who the killer is. Well, one theory has it being someone very close to Damien. Best friend's betrayal. Y&R was gearing up for a big murder mystery. However, no one expected Damien, Jermaine Rivers, to be the victim. The young businessman was killed when a mystery assailant threw a knife into his back. As the investigation begins, there are many questions to be answered. Was the knife meant for Damien? Or Kane Billy Flynn? And is the killer someone already in France? Fans are already starting with their speculation, and on Reddit, one person suggested Holden Nathan Owens is the killer. I think Damien's killer is Holden. The fact that Damien was killed with a knife in the back is very telling of it being a Kane and Holden setup. Holden really thought Damien set him up by letting him seemingly get fired. And we know how Kane felt about him being with Lily. One fan theorized. Valid theory, I guessed Holden too, because of the fact that he kept saying Damien stabbed him in the back. Another user agreed. Watch now. Big drama. Hot takes. Watch SoapHub says now. However, some fans were skeptical, citing evidence that Holden's in Genoa City, not France. Yet, one viewer said don't count the theory out. Like Kane, Holden can do the same day trip as well. I'm sure Kane would have given him access to his jet to get the deed done. Holden and Damien weren't on the best of terms prior to his trip to France. With Holden now partnering with Kane, this would have given him the perfect opportunity to get revenge on his ex-pal. Is Holden responsible for Damien's death? If so, was Kane in on the plan too? The Young and the Restless murder mystery continues with more suspects coming into play. The July 21-25th video previews that one character is interrogated while another hides potential evidence. Here's a sneak peek of what to expect. Next on. The fallout from Damien's Jermaine Rivers' death continues to unravel. As an investigation gets underway, Nick Joshua Morrow is the prime suspect after the bloody dagger is found in his room. Someone is setting up Nick, and Victor, Eric Braden, believes he knows who it is. The mustache summons Kane's Billy Flynn, assistant, Carter, Vincent Stalba, onto the train for an interrogation. Victor cuts right to the chase by asking Carter if he knows anything about Kane's plan to kill Damien. Carter replies that he would do anything for Kane, but not what Victor thinks he did. Is Carter telling the truth, or could he be hiding something? Meanwhile, Audra, Zuleika Silver, and Lily, Crystal Khalil, are on the patio when they're startled by a noise in the maze. Lily jumps from her seat as Audra asks, "Who's there?" With the killer still on the loose, everyone is on edge, and there's no telling when danger will strike next. Watch now. The drama's live. Watch the SoapHub Says podcast now. Elsewhere, Kane is in the surveillance room trying to find footage when Amanda, Miss Hale Morgan, walks in. Amanda asks if Kane is deleting footage, then warns him that's the worst thing he can do right now. Kane replies that he was going to ask her the same thing. Do Kane and Amanda know more about Damien's murder than they're letting on? Later, Nick receives a surprise visitor at his door when Carter shows up with a security guard. Carter says for everyone's safety and peace of mind, he's placing Nick under house arrest. Nick isn't thrilled by the news and will have choice words for Carter. But Nick. The Young and the Restless spoilers for July 21st to 25th focus on dangerous and frantic situations in Nice, France, as the murder mystery continues. Next week on The Young and the Restless. Nick's anger is on full blast because someone is framing him for Damien's murder in the maze. Next week, his emotions in the south of France are on high, and he finds himself experiencing some extreme circumstances. First, Nick, Joshua Morrow, and Sharon Case find themselves in a dangerous situation. Will they have to rely on each other to get out of this situation? And how dangerous are we talking? Then, later in the week, Nick's plan to escape backfires. With his anger on high and his being a person of interest for Damien's murder, there may be no shot for Nick to get off that island anytime soon. Meanwhile, Lily, Crystal Khalil, stands her ground with Phyllis, Michelle Stafford. Phyllis prides herself on being Kane's defender. Phyllis could try to shut down Lily for thinking that Kane, Billy Flynn, murdered Damien, Jermaine Rivers. It sounds like Lily and Phyllis are in for a friction-filled conversation next week. On Friday, an emotional Audra, Zuleika Silver, and a toweled Kyle, Michael Milo, end up kissing in his room on the train. On Monday, Kyle calls Audra's bluff. However, is this brief makeout session enough to violate the contract that Kyle signed and gave to Victor, Eric Braden? Later, Kyle tells Nikki, Melody Thomas Scott, the truth about Victor's deal with Audra. How will Nikki respond? Read this. Is Holden Nathan Owens to blame for Damien's death on YNR? Odds and ends. Meanwhile, The Kyle/Victor contract has to be on Victor's mind when he demands Audra hold up her end of their bargain. He is paying Audra to do serious damage to Kyle and Claire's, Haley-Aaron relationship. That's how she is getting funding for Vibrante, after all. What does Victor want to see her do? How far does he want her to take their deal? Read this. Who could be framing YNR's Nick? The professional relationship between Kane and Amanda, Miss Hale Morgan, is under fire. As his lawyer, she's been completely honest about thinking he may have been the one to kill Damien. But even if she does think this way, she is his lawyer, and she will fight for him. However, Kane ends up questioning Amanda's loyalty. Is he right to question her motives and actions? Finally, Billy, Jason Thompson, and Sally, Courtney Hope, have been on different pages in Nice. He's all about Chancellor, and she's all about Abbott Communications. However, they rush into action when Billy and Sally work together to help an innocent